So, you've collected quite a lot of components. In fact, you've collected every component that is currently available in Jump Space, with the currently available 5 first sectors that you're going to be going to. Now, you may be wondering, what do all these components do? And this is the guide for you if that's what you're wondering. So I'm going to start off really easy with the reactors and auxiliary generators. All of these things do exactly as they say. Leveling them up just gives you more protection, except in the case of the biofission reactor, which gives you an additional 2 bits of power on either side, making it sort of a larger bit of power, and the best, for power at least, auxiliary generator that you can have in this game. However, it doesn't mean it's going to fit everything. So with your mix of auxiliary generators and your mix of reactors, like the split reactor, solid state reactor, I might as well hold E just so you can see the upgrades here, materia scatterer, null wave generator, biofission, materia shift, and null tension generator, you can get your power. While some components in the game do have hidden features to them, these do not. They are, as it says right here. I guess some benefits of some of them is the solid-state reactor has one of the lowest amounts of power, but the entire thing can become protected, which means it can't be hit by like radiation or anything like that, which is always nice. So now that we've gotten rid of the boring stuff, the reactors and auxiliary generators, let's talk about some special weapons. And I will warn you, for 2 of these special weapons, the targeting module and the burst shield, if you're playing alone, do not equip them. Buddy has no idea what these 2 things do, and they do not know how to use them. So let's start with the Lance Railgun. This is one of the basic starting railguns you're going to get if you complete your first mission. It's a railgun that does a bunch of damage to a target if you can land a really precise shot. A missile launcher, on the other hand, is an automatically targeting weapon that will strike an opponent out of the sky. It's found in one of the later sectors of the game. And it allows you to, with this huge plug shape, hit any opponent guaranteed with your missiles. Then upgrading it will lower the reload time, will increase the ammo consumption, and increase the base damage accordingly. Now for burst shield, upgrading this gives you more active time and reduce the recharge time. But what does it do? When you're inside the gunnery station, you can activate the burst shield, and you'll see a sort of blue shield appear around your ship. This will in turn allow you to block 80% of the damage you're going to take over the next 2 to 4 seconds, or I guess 2 to 5 seconds. Now the targeting module is a very interesting one. If you select an opponent, which is also very similar to one of the sensors over there, you'll do an additional 20% damage to that opponent, which can be easily coupled with your railgun or something like that. But keep in mind, Buddy doesn't know how to use these bottom 2, so if you're having Buddy, just stick with one of the 2 or both the 2 on the top. For multi-turrets, now there are actually some hidden features in these multi-turrets that aren't really specified. Now assault turrets, they're your general all-arounder, they do pretty good damage, they have a decent ammo consumption, and I guess I might as well show that. Decent damage here for the assault turrets, and the more you upgrade, the more damage they do, better fire rate. It's your actual fastest firing weapon, despite what the flak launcher turret says. Oh, sorry, wrong one. So the flak launcher turret is a multi-turret system that shoots out some pretty high damage single round shots. In fact, it is one of the strongest, at least for single shot damage, as base damage towards an opponent. Which is really helpful for if you hit a weak point, that multiplies the damage that you dealt to that weak point by the base damage. Now, what is a hidden feature about the flak launcher turret is that the flak launcher turret has a slight AoE, which makes it very effective at dealing with ground targets, or if you have 2 ships that are overlapping somehow, you would technically be able to hit both of them with a single shot, though that is not going to happen. The AoE isn't that crazy. At least I have not seen it happen before. Next, we have the Gatling turret. This is, by and large, the strongest one of the multi-turrets, but it is also the one that consumes an insane amount of ammo. So, if you have a bunch of ammo, which can be acquired by using either the mining lasers, or by using the disruptor laser on pilot cannons, which we'll get to later, you'll be able to shoot for an insane amount of DPS on any ship that comes towards you with your Gatling turrets. Now for the mining laser. What's unique about this one is that despite its huge fire rate, its damage per second being really bad and everything, it doesn't consume ammo. And because it doesn't consume ammo, you can actually save space for more ammo consumption on pilot cannon sides. But what I'd recommend is having Gatling turrets, and disruptor lasers on your ship in case you want to maximize your damage, and also get the Gatling guns to be, like, you know, keep on firing, keep on going, and not sort of screw you later down the line, because it just eats all your ammo. Now on to pilot cannons. I'm very familiar with all these, as I'm typically the pilot, having played solo for way too long. To acquire all these components, we have the fragmentation cannon, which is your very baseline starting one. Similar to the assault turrets, it's sort of the mid-range, it's a balanced cannon. Nothing too unique about it, nothing too special. And then we go to the Rapid Pulse Cannon. Now, something about the Rapid Pulse Cannon is that all those stats you see, they are completely wrong in this update. None of that is correct. Its base damage is about 13, and it's actually rather similar to the Bolt Accelerator, which we'll get to later. But it does fire slightly faster than the Bolt Accelerator. So all that's wrong. Ignore all of that. As we're going to head over to the Disruptor Laser. This, I mentioned before, is the zero consumption of ammo cost laser. Shoots a bunch of ammo at an opponent. You unfortunately cannot see how much ammo has been expended currently, and you'll notice that your ships can't really shoot as fast anymore. And that's when you know that, okay, hold on, I need to let this thing cool down. And this upgrade is reduces the power plug shape, most notably. Now, the Bolt Accelerator is one of my favorites. It's like giving the pilot a railgun, except, you know, it fires a bit faster. It doesn't consume, I guess it does consume the same amount of ammo at max level. Oh, no, it doesn't. It's 5 times less. And this just lets you sort of fire and fire and fire and do huge damage to your opponents, which is very helpful, especially with all the things that increase first damage on an opponent for your base damage. And hitting a weak spot with this is just crucial to doing a bunch of damage. Only problem is, while this one does roughly the same thing, this one has a slower fire time, so if you miss, you gotta wait. And now let's talk about engines. One of the most surprising aspects of this game is how the engines have a lot of hidden features that are not specified in any of the components heretofore. So we have the really basic drift phase engine. This one is actually, as it says, like you can see exactly what it does. 120% max speed, 2 ship boosts. Ship boost charge is 5 seconds, ship turn is 110 seconds. The best for general maneuverability without using your ship charges, your boost charges, but not the fastest. Despite what these stats say, the Nitro Pulse engine is actually the fastest engine. That is because it has so many boost charges that you can eclipse the maximum speed of about 132 you can achieve with the drift phase engine, and turn that into 143 with the Nitro Pulse engine, which has a modest turn speed, a rather slow ship boost time, but a lot of ship boost charges. And here's another really interesting engine. The Microplasma engine. This is your very generic, very basic engine. I wouldn't recommend it, personally, unless you really need that extra power plug, since it does only take 1 slot of power, which all these engines take more than 1. But the trade-off is you have no special features, you have 1 boost, and while it will help you fit more stuff on your ship, you may not want it because it will, mess you up, slow you down. But onto the Mass Ejector engine, and probably the most surprising engine of all, as this one has a special hidden button that you can press if you have it. So if you have equipped the Mass Ejector engine, and missiles are flying at you, or even just in general space, the Mass Ejector engine has a button called Flare. No other engine has Flare, which makes up for its reduced speed, and reduced ship boost charges. So really have this pretty fast, pretty cool, general ship. You have this one, pretty fast, not really insane, general boost charges, kind of slow, but it has the Flare perk, and this one just boost, which is all very, very nice. And now, sensors. We actually have a sensor here, the Vector Targeting Module, which is very, very similar to the thing that Buddy cannot use in the special weapons. Has the same effect as the Targeting Module, with a nice 20% if you use it on an opponent. And that lasts for a good amount of time. It recharges about every minute, so you can use it again and again and again on opponents. I'd recommend this purely if you have multiple people on your ship and want to give a job to a scanner instead of someone getting yeeted into space. But if you have less than that, or even you want to try to get something more unique, then I recommend the Supply Uplink Unit, which is my favorite of the sensors, as it will let you call in a structure which would typically contain all manner of goods, such as ship health, ship shields, a bunch of materia. So I feel like this one is just generally better, especially for the longer missions they're going to be running. But vector targeting module, especially if you're running a mission that is a data extraction, you should probably have that on your ship instead of the really baseline sensors that don't do anything. So that is all the components for Jump Space. I hope you enjoyed this brief overview of all of them. I hope you like seeing what they can do, all the unique features that are currently implemented. And with that, I'm going to say RPG Penguin out. Have a great day and or night, and I'll see you all next time.